The first message coming through is expect a miracle. This person is going to love you more deeply than you have known before. This does not feel like ordinary affection. This feels like love arriving with healing, wonder, and real devotion. I feel this is the kind of bond that changes your whole inner language. It changes what you believe love can be and how safe it can feel. Please just take what resonates for you. Since this is a general love reading, you do not have to force anything that does not belong to your story, and you can also reverse the roles in the reading if you need to. Just place yourself where the energy lands most naturally for your situation. Let us begin with you first because your heart matters here. Let us look at where you are right now when it comes to receiving love. Here is Judgment and the Nine of Wands and the Three of Swords. Wow, this lands very clearly. With Judgment, I feel your spirit has been hearing that a cycle is ending. You may have sensed that your love life was about to change in a major way. With the Nine of Wands, I feel you are still watchful. You have learned a great deal, and your tenderness does not open recklessly. And with the Three of Swords, I feel older grief still lives in the body. For some of you, disappointment taught you to expect less than you deserved, so your side feels like this. You want love, but you also need love to feel trustworthy and steady. You are no longer asking for pretty words that fade in 2 days. Your heart wants care that stays, softens the nerves, and makes sense. Now let us look at this person. Let us see where they are in the energy moving towards you. We have the Hierophant and the Two of Wands and the Page of Wands. Wow, this person is not arriving carelessly. With the Hierophant, I feel they are aligned with commitment energy. This is someone who takes emotional meaning seriously once they truly feel it. With the Two of Wands, I feel they are looking ahead. They are not only thinking about attraction, they are thinking about future direction. And then with the Page of Wands, I feel there is freshness around them too. So even with maturity, there is still joy, spark, and a bright eagerness. This is important because the miracle here is not cold safety. The miracle is warm safety, living tenderness, and delighted devotion. So let us look at the shared energy between you, because the title says expect a miracle, and I absolutely feel blessing here. Here is the High Priestess, and the Five of Wands, and the King of Pentacles. Wow, this is beautiful and powerful. With the High Priestess, I feel there is a soul level knowing around this bond. Something may be sensed before it is fully explained, and that matters a lot. With the Five of Wands, I feel old fears may still make some noise. Not because the love is wrong, but because real love often wakes old defenses. And then with the King of Pentacles, I feel the deeper truth of this person. This is someone grounded, protective, dependable, and able to create steadiness. Let us get a little more here, and wow, here is trust. So Spirit is saying trusting the new is part of the miracle itself. You may be used to preparing for disappointment, but not this time. For them, here is friendship. And I love that because it says the foundation is not only chemistry, there is liking here, companionship, ease, and a genuine desire to share life, not just moments. For both of you, here's it is safe for you to love. Wow, that is the opening confirmation of this reading. The miracle is not random luck falling from the sky. The miracle is that the kind of love your heart needed is finally finding you. This person is not going to love you in a hurried, shallow, uncertain way. They are going to love you with presence, tenderness, and emotional consistency. And I keep getting that their love will calm places in you that stay braced. It will not only excite you, it will restore you. So if you have been asking whether something truly different can happen, this says yes. And not only yes, but yes in a life-changing way. You are not seeing this message for no reason at all. You are seeing it because your heart is moving into a season of better love. A season where being chosen does not come with confusion attached. A season where care feels clear, warm, and beautifully sustaining. This first section is the sign itself. Love is not only coming, it is coming in a form your heart can finally trust. And I feel the deepest miracle is this. You may stop calling yourself hard to love after this person arrives, because the way they hold you changes the old story, and the old story was never the truth of your worth. Expect gentleness, expect steadiness, expect the heart to finally breathe easy. Let us go deeper into your side now, because receiving a love this strong is its own journey. Sometimes the miracle is not only that love arrives, but that your heart lets it in. Here is the Magician and the Ten of Cups reversed and the Three of Pentacles. Wow, so your mind has been trying to stay practical. With the Magician, I feel you have become intentional with your energy. You no longer show everything at once, and that comes from wisdom, not coldness. With the Ten of Cups reversed, I feel there has been caution around happy endings. Part of you wants the dream, but another part refuses to build on fantasy alone. And with the Three of Pentacles, I feel your heart wants something grown. You want effort, reliability, and someone who knows how to build beside you, so your side of this message says something important. If this person is really going to love you more than anyone else, then the love has to meet you where you live now, not where you lived when you were less healed. Let us go deeper into what you are feeling overall. Here is the Page of Cups reversed, and the Six of Wands, and then the Unknown card. Wow, so your tenderness is there, but it has become private, selective, and carefully held. With the Page of Cups reversed, I feel your softness no longer spills everywhere. You want emotional honesty before you uncurl your deepest feelings. With the Six of Wands, though, I feel you do want to feel openly chosen. There is a very healthy desire in you to be loved in a visible, honoring, affirming way. And then with the Unknown card, I feel there is mystery in how you will receive this, because some part of you may still be asking whether love this good is really meant for you. Let us clarify that Page of Cups reversed. And wow, here is Judgment and the King of Wands. So I feel you have been stepping into a stronger version of yourself. You are learning how to remain warm without becoming unprotected, and that matters deeply in this reading, because the miracle is not only that someone comes in and loves you beautifully. The miracle is that you are finally the version of yourself who can recognize it, receive it, and not run from it. Let us get emotional cards on your side. Here is Discernment and Readiness. Wow, Discernment tells me you are no longer interested in fantasy without follow through. Readiness tells me that even with your caution, there is a real part of your soul preparing for something better. That combination is powerful, because it means you are not closed, you are wise. For some of you, the old version of you might have mistrusted this kind of love. But the version of you standing here now feels more mature, more centered, and more able to tell the difference between empty charm and real care. Let us hear your hidden inner voice. Here is I want something that feels safe and alive at the same time. And here is I am ready for a love that does not make me question my worth. Wow, that is beautiful, because it tells me your heart is not asking for too much. It is simply asking for what fits it. Let us go one layer deeper into why this incoming love feels different from the past. Here is the Queen of Cups and the Star. The Queen of Cups tells me your heart is naturally deep, intuitive, and able to hold great love. The Star says there is something luminous around you now, something softer and more trusting beginning to return. So when this person enters, or when this connection fully opens, the miracle is not only external, it is internal too. You may find yourself responding differently than you once would have. You may still be careful, but not closed. You may still have questions, but not the same fear-driven defenses. And I feel that is part of why this blessing can finally land. Because your spirit has done real work to become available for a healthier kind of love. This section is about your receptivity, not blind openness, but wise openness, not desperation, but alignment, not fantasy, but genuine readiness to receive something that meets you in truth. So if you have wondered whether your heart is too tired to believe again, this says no. Your heart is not too tired. It has simply been waiting for the kind of care that actually matches its depth. That is what makes this message so beautiful. The love coming in is not asking you to become less discerning. It is asking you to trust that discernment can coexist with softness. It is asking you to let devotion in without surrendering your standards. That is how miracle energy works here. It does not bypass your wisdom, it meets it. That is why this message feels certain. Your heart is not asking for fantasy. It is preparing to receive love that feels safe, mutual, and beautifully real. You are not being asked to forget what you learned. You are being asked to let better love meet the wiser version of you. That is the miracle on your side. Your heart stays wise and still gets held with great care. Now let us go completely into their side, because this message stands on one very strong truth. This person is not only interested in you, they are arriving at a love that feels definitive inside them. Here is the Emperor and the Two of Cups and the Knight of Wands. Wow. So even if they have looked controlled from the outside, what is happening inside them is much bigger than control. With the Emperor, I feel this is someone who likes to appear composed, capable, and very clear-headed. They may not enjoy looking vulnerable, and they may have tried very hard to look unaffected for as long as possible. But then the Two of Cups appears, and that tells me what they feel has moved far beyond attraction. This is recognition. This is a real sense of emotional pairing, of being met, of feeling that another person fits somewhere very important in the heart. And then with the Knight of Wands, I feel movement pressing underneath the surface. There is a living urge in them to close distance, to move toward you, and to stop living in restraint. So what has happened inside them? I feel they have been overtaken by the realization that nobody else lands the way you do. Let us clarify the Emperor. And wow, here is the Sun and the Nine of Cups. This is very beautiful because it says your presence lights up their inner world. The sun brings warmth, brightness, and a feeling of life becoming more vivid when you are near, or even when they are simply thinking of you. And the Nine of Cups says you feel emotionally satisfying to them, not only exciting, not only beautiful, satisfying. That is huge, because people can admire many things, but they do not feel deeply fulfilled by many people. Let us go deeper into what they feel overall. Here is the Magician and the Six of Swords and the Moon. With the Magician, I feel they have been trying to regulate their expression. They may have chosen silence, smaller signals, or deliberate distance, hoping the feeling would quiet down. With the Six of Swords, I feel they tried to calm themselves. They may have hoped that time, logic, or focus on other responsibilities would make this easier to manage. But then the Moon appears, and that is where the truth becomes undeniable. The Moon says the feeling is deeper than they intended. There is yearning here, emotional pull, softness, longing, and the kind of inward attachment that becomes louder in private. For some of you, they think of you late at night. For others, they get random flashes of you during the day that shift their whole mood. This is not only a mood, this is a steady emotional climate. Let us get deeper emotional cards on them. Here is recognition and astonishment. Wow, recognition tells me the heart has named what it feels. Astonishment tells me they may still be surprised by just how complete that realization has become. Because the title says this person is going to love you more than anyone else. And I feel that promise is forming through this realization that no one else has reached them the way you have. Let us hear their hidden inner voice. Here is I did not mean to feel this much, and here is but now that I do, I cannot pretend it is small. Wow. Yes, that fits this section exactly. They may have resisted the scale of the feeling. They may have tried to call it something simpler, but I feel life itself kept proving them wrong. You kept mattering, you kept returning, you kept touching something too real to dismiss. Let us also look at why they are calling you perfect for me inwardly. Here is the King of Pentacles and the Queen of Cups. This tells me they feel both steadiness and tenderness with you. They see in you someone who can hold emotion deeply without losing groundedness. And that combination is rare. You do not only excite them, you soothe them, you make sense to them. You feel emotionally and spiritually coherent in their world. That is what perfect means here. Not flawless, not idealized, but deeply fitting. It means your energy belongs where their heart is trying to go. And the more they realize that, the less possible it becomes to keep treating this as vague. This section is not about what they do yet. This section is about what they now know. And what they now know is this. You are not a passing chapter. You are not replaceable. You have become the measure inside them, the standard their heart returns to. That is why the message carries so much weight. Because this love is not only strong, it is orienting them. It is changing what they want. It is changing what they value. It is changing what they value. It is changing what kind of future they can imagine with honesty. That is the turning point in them. They are no longer wondering whether you matter. They are living with the truth that you do. The heart has decided before the mouth has spoken. That is why the energy feels different. Now, they are no longer searching for the truth. They are living inside it, and that changes what happens next. Now let us look at why this miracle is happening now, because timing matters just as much as feeling. A heart can know the truth for a while, but there is always a moment when that truth becomes ready to change outer life. Here is the High Priestess and the Five of Wands and the Ace of Swords. Wow. So the timing is coming from the collision between hidden knowing, inner conflict, and a final wave of clarity. With the High Priestess, I feel this bond has lived under the surface for longer than it should have. There has been sensing without naming, feeling without defining, and a lot understood in silence. With the Five of Wands, I feel there has been internal battle, not because the love is false, but because love this real usually wakes up all the parts of a person that are still afraid of loss, change, and vulnerability. And then the Ace of Swords arrives. That is the turning point, because the Ace of Swords says truth sharpens. Fog lifts, excuses begin collapsing. This person may have used timing before, or life circumstance, or caution, or even denial, but I feel those old explanations are weakening now because what they know in their heart has become clearer than what they fear in their mind. Let us go deeper. Here is the Six of Cups and the Star. Wow, the Six of Cups tells me there is emotional familiarity here. Something about you feels deeply natural to them, almost like their nervous system recognized your energy before their logic knew what to do with it. And the Star says you also awakened future inside them. Not only desire, not only affection, but hope. Hope that love could feel restorative. Hope that a relationship could be both soft and strong. Hope that they could be met in a way they had been quietly longing for. When emotional familiarity and future hope exist in the same connection, the bond usually goes very deep. And that is exactly what happened here. Let us get more on the timing trigger. Here is the Wheel of Fortune. Wow, this says the season itself is shifting. Something that could be delayed before now reaches the moment where delay no longer fits the truth. That is why the title says expect a miracle, because I do not feel this is random. I feel there is grace in the timing. I feel there is divine alignment in the way this is unfolding now rather than before. For some of you, if this had happened earlier, you might not have been ready to receive it without fear taking over. For others, they were not yet honest enough with themselves to offer what your heart truly deserved. But now both sides feel more prepared. You have more wisdom, and they have more clarity. Let us look at the emotional cards around the now factor. Here is inevitability. And ripening inevitability says the heart cannot keep calling this something smaller than it is. Ripening says the feeling has matured enough to leave the inner world and start pressing into the real world. That is powerful. Because it tells me the timing is not impulsive, it is formed. Let us hear the hidden inner voice around why now, here is I have run out of ways to ignore this. And here is I know what this is now, and I know I cannot stand still forever. Wow. Yes, that is the now factor. This person may have tried to keep things in a safe middle zone, but the middle zone is collapsing because once the heart knows, remaining in uncertainty starts to feel like betrayal of the truth. Let us also look at the spiritual layer of the miracle. Here is Temperance. Wow. Temperance says this is not chaotic timing. This is orchestrated timing. It says what seemed delayed may actually have been prepared. It says what looked impossible may have only needed the right season to become visible. That is why this section matters, because the miracle is not only that someone loves you deeply. The miracle is that the love is arriving at a moment where it can actually have roots. A moment where your heart can receive it more wisely and their heart can offer it more honestly. Let us get one more layer here. Here's the Ace of Pentacles that says the miracle is not abstract. It wants to enter form. So why now? Because the truth inside them has ripened into readiness. Because your own heart has become more capable of receiving what is steady and healthy. Because the old chapter needed to close before the new one could open cleanly. And because what is coming wants to be lived, not only sensed. That is what changes everything here. So if you have been feeling that something larger than you can explain is happening, you are not imagining it. You are feeling timing itself shift. This section is the bridge from inner knowing into outer alignment. And that bridge says the season of almost is ending. That is the miracle of the timing. What was once only sensed is becoming livable now, and the heart is no longer content to stay behind the veil when truth is ready to enter form and stay. Now let us look at what they are about to do, because the heart has already realized the truth. The next question is how that truth becomes action. Here is the Two of Wands and the Knight of Swords and the Ace of Cups. Wow. So planning is crossing into movement, and movement is crossing into honest expression. The Two of Wands says they have thought about this carefully. This is not a random impulse that appeared out of nowhere. They have imagined the approach, they have imagined your response. They have imagined what happens after the first opening. And then the Knight of Swords says the pace changes. What took a long time to form inwardly may move much faster once they finally commit to doing it. The Ace of Cups tells me the action is emotionally real, not a performance, not a test, not a half-hearted gesture. So what are they going to do? I feel they are going to put something tangible in front of you. For some of you, that means a direct confession. For some, it means a conversation that clearly defines intention. For others, it means an invitation into a more official and visible shape of connection. But in every case, I feel the energy saying the truth is going to leave the private chamber and enter the shared world. Let us get more on the form of the offer. Here is the Ace of Pentacles and the Page of Wands. Wow. The Ace of Pentacles says this is something you can actually respond to. It is not only an emotional leak, it is a real opening with structure to it. The Page of Wands says the entry point may begin brightly. There may be enthusiasm, warmth, liveliness, or a tone that feels easier than the weight underneath it. That matters because the outside may seem lighter than the inside at first, but do not mistake that for lack of seriousness. Sometimes people use a brighter opening when the deeper truth matters so much that they need a clean way in. Let us go deeper. Here is the Eight of Wands. And the Fool. The Eight of Wands says once the line opens, momentum builds quickly. The Fool says they are ready to risk a new chapter rather than keep standing at the edge. So the action is not only I say something. The action is I step across the old line. For some of you, they may move from silence into daily contact very quickly. For others, the first message may open a bigger conversation that changes the whole tone of the bond almost immediately. Let us look at the emotional intention beneath the offer. Here is the Two of Cups and the King of Pentacles. The Two of Cups says they want mutuality. They want connection that is shared, reciprocated, lived, and the King of Pentacles says they want reality. They do not only want to finally say it, they want to create something stable enough to hold what they feel. That is why this offer is not small. It carries future energy. Not necessarily every detail of the future solved at once, but enough seriousness to change the atmosphere between you very quickly. Let us hear the hidden messages attached to the move. Here is I need you to know where I stand. And here is I do not want to keep letting this live only inside me. Wow, yes, that belongs here exactly. This person is not satisfied with loving you privately anymore. They want the love to have a place between you. Let us get more. Here is I want to choose you in a way you can feel. And here is I want to stop leaving you to guess. That is powerful because it says the offer is not only about their relief, it is about your clarity too. They want you to experience the truth of their heart, not merely sense it from a distance. Let us also look at what makes the offer feel so big. Here's the Hierophant again. So yes, I absolutely feel the urge to define this. For some of you, that means exclusivity. For some, it means a clear statement that they want partnership, not ambiguity. And for others, it means the first real conversation about a more serious, more formal direction between you. Let us hear the confession layer under the action. Here's I know what this is now, and here's I do not want to lose what could be real just because I stayed afraid too long. Wow. Yes, this is not only a romantic impulse, this is someone recognizing that inaction has consequences, and they do not want to let fear cost them what the heart has finally named. So what do? They step forward. They offer clarity. They offer movement. They offer something real enough to change the air between you. The move may still be human. They may still be nervous. They may still begin with smaller words than the full weight of the feeling, but the action itself says enough. It says, I am no longer leaving this in the shadows. And that is why the offer matters so much. It is not only words finally spoken, it is the visible beginning of a love that is trying to become lived, named, and strong enough to hold your hearts in the open with direction, steadiness, and a future that can actually be built. Now, let us close this out with the outcome tone, the guidance, and the final confirmation around what happens after this love steps into the open. Because once someone realizes you are their true love, the path itself changes shape. Here is the Lovers and the Hermit and the Ace of Swords. Wow, that spread is very clear. With the Lovers, I feel there is a real bond here. This is not a passing attraction. This is choice, alignment, and the sense that something meaningful wants to be honored. With the Hermit, I feel both of you have already gone through inner preparation. There has been reflection, feeling, and a great deal of private truth seeking before anything more visible could happen. And then the Ace of Swords says breakthrough. Clarity, naming, honesty, and the moment where fog gives way to something clean and speakable. So the future tone does not feel vague. It feels like revelation becoming real. Let us get more on that. Here is the Six of Cups and the Page of Swords. The Six of Cups tells me there is sweetness at the core of this. There is fondness, emotional familiarity, and a softness that survives even when things are not fully expressed. And the Page of Swords says the mental focus has stayed active, watching, wondering, remembering, thinking, returning. This person has not drifted away in the way they may have looked from the outside. Their mind and heart have both remained connected to you. All right, so let us see the most likely next energy after the first move. Here is the Fool, and the Page of Wands and the Two of Cups. Again, this looks like a fresh opening. Something warm begins, and then the emotional reality underneath it becomes much more visible. The Fool says someone takes the leap. The Page of Wands says the first expression may be bright, lively, and inviting. And the Two of Cups says what begins has the potential to become mutual in a very real way. This is not one-sided fantasy. For some of you, the first exchange may seem simple at first, but it quickly reveals itself to be much more significant than an ordinary check-in. Let us get final hidden messages. For them, here is I want this to be real in both our lives. For you, here is I need words and actions to match. And for both of you, here is this is not ending, this is beginning. Wow, that gathers the whole reading together. One heart finally naming the truth, one heart still wise and observant. Both hearts standing at the edge of a genuine new chapter. So what is the guidance for you? Here is the Queen of Cups and the Ten of Cups. The guidance is to stay emotionally awake without abandoning your discernment. Do not shut down because the feeling is big, but do not ignore your need for consistency either. Let yourself receive, let yourself observe, let yourself notice whether their behavior keeps matching the truth they speak. Because that is the real next lesson here. Not whether there is love, but whether the love can live in reality with steadiness and follow through. Let us get one more message of guidance. Here is there are infinite resources available to me. That tells me do not move from scarcity. Do not receive this through the lens of fear, lack, or old disappointment. Receive it through self-respect. Receive it through your inner knowing. Receive it through the part of you that understands real care will not ask you to betray yourself. And now let us hear the final thing they would say if they were standing in front of you. I know now what you are to me. I know you are not temporary in my life. I know I cannot keep reducing you into smaller words just because the truth frightened me at first. I have tried to stay measured, but my heart stopped being measured a while ago. You fit me in a way I did not expect. And now that I see it, I cannot unsee it. I do not want to keep standing outside this truth. I want to stand inside it and let you see me there. I want to choose you in a way that feels real. I want the love I feel to have shape and meaning in the world between us. I know this may change everything. But I also know pretending it is smaller would be a lie. And I feel like that is the truth here. Not polished, not dramatic, just deeply true. So yes, they finally realized you are their true love. And yes, the realization is moving toward a more official expression, not away from it. This closing section is not only confirmation. It is a reminder that love grows strongest when courage makes it visible. That is what is changing here. The choice is becoming visible. And that is why the message lands so strongly, because the heart has already chosen, and now the life around it is trying to catch up. For some of you, the pace may still require patience. For others, it may move faster than expected. That is the closing truth. What was hidden has been named. What was waiting is moving, and what is real is asking to be received with both softness and wisdom. Because once someone realizes you are their true love, the path itself changes shape. Here is the Lovers and the Hermit, and the Ace of Swords. Wow, that spread is very clear. With the Lovers, I feel there is a real bond here. This is not a passing attraction. This is choice alignment and the sense that something meaningful wants to be honored. With the Hermit, I feel both of you have already gone through inner preparation. There has been reflection, feeling, and a great deal of private truth seeking before anything more visible could happen. And then the Ace of Swords says breakthrough. Clarity, naming, honesty, and the moment where fog gives way to something clean and speakable. So the future tone does not feel vague. It feels like revelation becoming real. Let us get more on that. Here is the Six of Cups and the Page of Swords. The Six of Cups tells me there is sweetness at the core of this. There is fondness, emotional familiarity, and a softness that survives even when things are not fully expressed. And the Page of Swords says the mental focus has stayed active, watching, wondering, remembering, thinking, returning. This person has not drifted away in the way they may have looked from the outside. Their mind and heart have both remained connected to you. All right, so let us see the most likely next energy after the first move. Here is the Fool, and the Page of Wands and the Two of Cups. Again, this looks like a fresh opening. Something warm begins, and then the emotional reality underneath it becomes much more visible. The Fool says someone takes the leap. The Page of Wands says the first expression may be bright, lively, and inviting. And the Two of Cups says what begins has the potential to become mutual in a very real way. This is not one-sided fantasy. For some of you, the first exchange may seem simple at first, but it quickly reveals itself to be much more significant than an ordinary check-in. Let us get final hidden messages. For them, here is I want this to be real in both our lives. For you, here is I need words and actions to match. And for both of you, here is this is not ending, this is beginning. Wow, that gathers the whole reading together. One heart finally naming the truth, one heart still wise and observant, both hearts standing at the edge of a genuine new chapter. So what is the guidance for you? Here is the Queen of Cups and the Ten of Cups. The guidance is to stay emotionally awake without abandoning your discernment. Do not shut down because the feeling is big, but do not ignore your need for consistency either. Let yourself receive, let yourself observe, let yourself notice whether their behavior keeps matching the truth they speak. Because that is the real next lesson here. Not whether there is love, but whether the love can live in reality with steadiness and follow through. Let us get one more message of guidance. Here is their